They say they've been training for weeks to defend their homes, to fight for Colonel Gaddafi, to the death if necessary. Though with some of the shooting going on, that might be sooner rather than later. They are a self-styled women's militia, practicing weapon drills in a medical institute's courtyard in the town of Gharyan. In itself, that is significant. Rebels in Libya's western Nefusa mountains say taking Gharyan will be the last staging point before an attack on Tripoli to the north, and it'll happen soon. But Gharyan is full of soldiers and militia. The talk here is of a determined resistance to the rebels, a line in the sand.
They
are ready for any solution, they're trained on weapons, they're ready for negotiation as first, and then they're ready to attack and defend themselves.
In a market we were taken to, life does seem pretty normal. Despite weeks of sanctions, there's plenty of food at regulated prices still available. The government's banned price rises. Those who spoke support Gaddafi, but they admit they're worried their town will soon become a battlefield.
Now I talk about these days and yesterday, but tomorrow I don't know.
What will happen?
Oh yes, I don't know, but today and yesterday the weather is good.
The Nefusa mountain range has been the only consistent anti-Gaddafi stronghold in the west of the country since the uprising. The rebels say they are preparing an offensive across the vast plains to Tripoli. It's rare for our organised trips to venture this near the rebel front line. It is actually only a few miles away. But the authorities are clearly confident that they're still strong here. Our journey from Gharyan on the edge of the mountain range further west to the sound of Al-Sabah was an organised show of strength. For miles, gun-toting men fired into the skies, and families gathered on rooftops, marking our arrival.
We're really quite deep inside the Nefusa mountains. In fact, the rebel positions are only a few miles away from here. We're in the town of Al-Sabah. That's through here that the rebels will have to come if to get to the main roads that lead north to Tripoli. They want to cut off those supply routes from the south. I have to say, though, that everyone we've seen here appears to be a Gaddafi supporter, and most of the men appear to be armed.
Whether an offensive will happen and what resistance the rebels would meet is simply impossible to predict. Without NATO assistance, it would seem unlikely to succeed. What we can't accurately gauge is how much support still exists for Colonel Gaddafi away from these people who are committed to his cause. The rebels, and perhaps NATO, believe that his support will collapse. So far, however, out here in the west, he's still very much in control. Stuart Ramsey, Sky News, in the Nefusa Mountains.